Yeah, they're all communist over there, aren't they?
Whoa.
No. The soup Nazi guy, I sent more than 300 resumes. Actually, my ex's father owned a bank where we went in to shoot with guns. I became a lawyer.
What the fuck?
Wow,
Just
I
a little
wasn't
side
expecting
quest.
that.
As a non-AOD person, I need your unfiltered opinions and reviews.
I'm not entirely sure if like they can be called like documentary course. He and his family and his friends were standing in front of a wall and everyone was shot. I left my friends, my family, the place I was super like familiar with.
I felt that I always had to go above and beyond.
When that moment clicks and you find your family, like you find your home. Intro. Intro. Welcome to the Freelance Lounge.
Episode 3. Today we are joined by...
My name is Balazs Horvath.
Oh, you hit us with the
Yes.
last name too.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Balazs
Horvath.
Horvath.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Don't worry.
What'd
Don't
you
worry.
say?
It's like my Starbucks name is Benjamin.
Well, we're very glad to have you here.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for inviting me. Like truly, I'm a big fan of each of you, and I really like what you guys do individually. And when I saw that you united your power, I was like, wow! Like I can't wait to hit that share button in the future.
Aw.
Truly.
You
Thanks,
were
man.
the sweetest. I think the goal here is learning how to be a sweet person from you.
That's the takeaway.
Yeah, that'll be the takeaway.
How to be sweet.
Everyone will fall in love with you. The internet is going to fall in love with you.
So first off, we want to get kind of a context for listeners about who you are and where you're at in the freelance journey, because this podcast is ultimately about freelance, but we want to recognize that everybody is at a different point in their journey and their goals may be different.
So I think the reason why we wanted to bring you in is because you have this very unique perspective. Like, where do you come from?
I was born in Budapest, Hungary. Lived there for 30 years. I finished university there. I worked as a musician and a journalist there. And when it came to getting into more like documentaries, more like from a director perspective, I moved to San Francisco, California. I spent there like 6 months, and then I came to Vancouver and been living here for 6-7 years.
And you're just telling me that you just got a full-time job. So I imagine the freelancing will be on the side now. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, thank you for asking. Yeah, like getting a job in Vancouver in the creative field that's not just project based, like more like having like a full-time job can take a long time. It took like 6 months applying nonstop. I sent more than 300 resumes to companies. I think maybe just like 10% like got back to me. And you have to be prepared for that, like financially. You have to be prepared for that mentally, and to be patient and say that you're gonna get there. I was lucky that I got a job that's my official title right now is multimedia production manager.
Ooh, fancy.
What sounds like very cool. That was like a new role that they created at this marketing agency. They focus on dental clinics, and they work for 480 clinics from Halifax to Toronto to Vancouver. And all the social media and all the content has to be made by one agency. That is ours, or that's the one that I work for. And so in the future, I will be responsible to working with like a lot of like photographers, videographers who have like content for all these different clinics in the future.
That's really cool. You're kind of on the other side of things now, like from
Yes.
being the one who's trying to get hired by a company like that to the one who does like a lot of the hiring and managing and project managing. Can we go back to like baby Balazs
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
and what it was like for you, like kind of growing up, and how did you kind of fall into like find yourself as like a creative person?
I think it comes back to the age of like probably like 14-ish. We would listen to a lot of music with my dad, and he was a musician as well. And I was, we all, my brothers and my sisters, we all played on different instruments. I was the double bass player.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, that's
Fam
so
jam.
nice.
So it was a fun era, like symphonic, like music and Vivaldi, Mozart, and like stuff like that. And then as I got into high school, I got the influence of punk rock, and I realized how to play the first Blink-182 songs on a double bass. I'm like, oh my god, I can play these. This is
That's
not that
dope.
complex. So it's crazy. And when my dad would come back to the door, I got playing the Vivaldi stuff, like switching back to like Blink-182, and then I got a bass guitar for my birthday. This is like 2003, 2004, early internet era. We would connect with other like Blink fans on different websites. We would form our first band, and we would start to just play music. And that's where the reason why I'm saying like all this, because that's where I would like go back to the very early stage of creating something from nothing, like realizing that you have the power of creating something on your own. And that realization was like groundbreaking, because that's from day by day, or from product by product, or song by song, you would realize that you can be confident with that, and you can broadcast your ideas. And if people appreciate it, then you don't have to be afraid of like self-expression in the future. And as years went by, during that time, I was embracing music first, and writing our own like lyrics, what would be a little more sentimental and challenging, and talking about difficulties in life, or like challenges, and singing it to a larger audience was definitely heart like heartwarming to hear others saying that maybe the lyrics touched some people, or maybe it was somehow like influential to some. So that was like the birth of like my creative like personality.
And did you start shooting video to then record the video clips for your band?
Yeah, so what happened is like as we started to grow bigger, we got to the point that we won this competition from Red Bull, and they paid for our first music video. What was like wow, like crazy. And so they shot our first music video, and it was called Discotheque. That's the first song. It was like a punk rock song. And then when we were doing the filming, and then when I was like watching it on the monitor, I was like, I couldn't believe, like, oh my god, like they were using the Canon, Mark 5D
5D.
Mark II. That was the peak era, I think, for those cameras, and I couldn't believe that I could look like this in front of the camera. And it looked totally different when I would like turn the TV on and I would like watch the news. It had just I couldn't really explain like how it looked different.
Yeah, the shallow depth of field, and I think the 5D was a full frame camera compared to all the broadcast cameras.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell like what was the difference, but I saw that there is something very, very much like
like
a
cinematic.
exactly.
Yeah.
So again, we were like having like a second and third and fourth music video, and we really enjoyed like seeing how a company was getting prepared for that when it comes to script, when it comes to doing all the production work. We did a music video. I think it became the best music video of the year in Hungary.
Oh, what?
2013. Yeah, it was a thank you. It was
We gotta link this in the description.
What's the name of the band again, in case people want to search on YouTube?
It's called The Hated Tomorrow. It was a little depressing like band name. When we started, we were influenced by like The Used and Taking Back Sunday and some other like My Chemical Romance and
those names in a while.
like those kind of like more emo bands. And later on, our music was like way more positive. So the name of the band was more like contrasty to the music we played at the time or later on. But so we did the music video in 2013. What was a never existed. So it was like a trailer or like a soundtrack for a movie that never existed. So the idea of the music video was like going out and shooting action scenes for 3 months, like in the
What?
tube, like like for the
Wow.
like for the underground tube, like running with huge guns.
What?
Yeah. I was responsible for the production in a way that I would be the one getting in touch with all official, people and asking for permission, like going
Oh,
into this
wow.
construction. They were building the tube at the time for the underground system,
Oh.
and we got the permission to go under and spend like a few hours down there, like 300 meters like below the ground, having this machine gun on
Who
the
sourced the guns?
future-
You too?
Yeah.
Was that your job too?
Yeah. I think.
Oh, you're
well,
dangerous.
No, I know. I think it was us getting in touch with the guy who had those like fake guns that they would
Oh,
be like
nice.
using in film sets.
Oh, wow.
Like an armory person or
An
whatever they
army-
call it.
yes, exactly. And that gun had like a little like fire still coming out from the gun itself.
Wow.
What was kind of hard to get that one, like avoiding like post-production work.
Yeah.
And that to look a little more like
Practical.
Practical, exactly. So so the entire music video, like the shooting, took like 3 months, like 100 actors, and we shot the whole thing from
Ew.
$4,000.
God
Red Bull was one of
damn,
our
that's
sponsors.
insane.
Red Bull and another like pop drink like company, and yeah, basically what we did was putting as much of work from the band side as well to the production part, and asking like never-ending favors, like location wise, or like asking friends like to come. Even grandmothers and grandfathers would come for like scenes that we shot in banks, like when there is a robbery in the music video.
Wow.
And actually my ex's father owned a bank where we went in to shoot with guns, and we had to get in touch with the local police, like
Wow.
saying that the guns that you will be hearing from the bank is not an actually robbery will be happening. But yeah, it's in
My
the music
gosh.
video as well. It was
That's a crazy first project to be a part of. What the
it was
hell?
very like so much fun.
And you coordinated a lot of that in terms of like
Yeah, you were
locations.
producing right from the start.
Yeah.
Yes, like I would say like the band was like it was like a 4-piece band, so all of us were like super excited to have this music video, and we would put like all the energy beside playing music like into it. And I remember even my brother plays like who dies in the music video, and we were the ones like getting up at 5 a.m. going to the countryside and dig him into, like we put him into a sack and we were like digging a hole and throwing him in. And it's in
Wow.
the music video as well. Like thinking back, like Jesus Christ, like we did some unusual stuff like during that like music video shooting.
Wow.
It's like the Eminem thing, like, do not miss your chance to blow. Like, you guys, like, saw this opportunity and you're like, we have to go all out on this.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So how did you transition then from, like, being, on camera, also kind of producing and then playing music, to then moving into being behind the camera?
I'm trying to make it simple. I was doing music during my university years. I became a lawyer by finishing university.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, that
Like
was
punk
I
rock.
didn't either.
Just a little
It's
side
like-
quest.
We went from punk rock to lawyer.
Yeah, I was studying to become a lawyer. I finished the university there. I was not interested about it at all. However, because my family is full of journalists, I went into journalism. That's how I used my knowledge from the legal studies. So it went parallel, doing music, being a journalist. And as I noticed, like written articles are not getting as much attention as I want. And I felt like seeing like how music videos were shot, that cinematic approach was something I wanted to bring into journalism. However, I had absolutely no idea how a camera works, like zero. I didn't know anything about filters, or like couldn't even like open like a tripod.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that.
I had
We've
no
been
idea.
there. Yeah.
I still struggle with
I
C-stands
struggle with
myself.
that settler, yeah.
And I have no idea how to open a tripod. So, yeah, I feel you.
We're all there.
And so from that point, I was like, okay, I want to get into like documentary filmmaking because it has got to do with journalism and coming up with questions and getting prepared for interviews and coming up with a storyline was something that I was fascinated and very, very, very interested about. So I got to know this director in Hungary who is based in San Francisco, and she does interviews with Holocaust survivors and different revolution like refugees who flee from Europe to North America. That's how I got the chance to move to San Francisco and help this lady. And we did a bunch of interviews like in this genre. I was helping to do like a video archive at the time. And that's how I get the first like chances of like opening a tripod or getting a little more familiar with like how to change the focus or like what are these things. And spent 6 months in San Francisco, then moved to Vancouver to do exactly the same job, but on my own. So I had to get my first camera, and I knew that it was 5-6 years ago, just before pandemic. And I was like, okay, how to get familiar with the camera? Watching never-ending tutorials. First, I got like the Moment little lens, you know, for my
for iPhones.
For iPhones.
Or phones, yeah.
Exactly. So I was like playing with that. I actually got the chance to learn how to frame a picture, how to make sure what is in it, and how to play with the lights a little. And when I got the camera, that's when the holy triangle came: the ISO, shutter speed, and then the aperture, and how to play with these like three balances. So I think the first 1 or 2 years was more like taking my cameras everywhere, trying to capture like images about everyday people from the beach, you know, on the street, at home, and how to get to the point where I can do little gigs, when I can do photos for a brewery about like new beer release. Or
let's back up for a second then. So it's really interesting that I think most people start with camera first, and then they fall in love with the camera and the how it makes them feel, and then they kind of look bigger picture and grow into that. But you kind of went the entirely opposite direction, which is interesting. Like, it's such a fascinating path.
Started from story and journalism first,
Very
and
big
then
picture.
into like figuring out the equipment later.
Exactly. So you said 1 to 3 years was kind of you getting to know the camera. Is all of that in Vancouver then?
yes,
That 1 to 3? Dang.
I came to Vancouver 2019 with the idea of making documentaries without any knowledge of a camera and how to use it, but having an understanding of how to do interviews and how to craft stories. And I was like, okay, now I need to make money for my first camera. How can I do that?
How did you do that?
How did I do that? So I to be able to work in Canada, you have to get a work permit officially, and then so I went to school.
Officially.
Yeah, let me know if we need to edit any parts of this.
I'm like, that's how it went. Like, I went to a school. I did like a course here. I got the work permit, so I got the chance to work in 20 hours and to make money for a camera. And basically, that's how it went.
And did you work in the field, or you had to
Construction work.
Construction. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Manual work, building windows into houses.
Oh wow.
And stuff like that. It was like a heavy, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need that camera, baby. Like, I really have.
Which one did you go with?
I was trying to get something that's affordable. However, the image quality is gonna be good. So Sony was always that I really wanted, but I was like, I have to stuck in this like field, like construction work for 2 more years.
Wow.
I want to get out from here. It's not necessarily my thing. So I got the Fuji X-T4 camera, and I liked its vintage look, and it did like a very nice type of like videos, and I had no idea what log, was that at the time.
But it was good.
But it worked, yeah.
Yeah.
So from that point, I started to explore it, never-ending tutorials, getting familiar with the different codecs and different type of like way of like how to record a sound, how to record without using any film simulations, because Fuji is famous for film simulations, right? And how to have the flat like color record, the log mode, how to control that. And also the same with photos and like with the raw like kind of material. And whenever I was shooting, how to stay invisible, and create visuals that has that like documentary like candid feel, and whoever I filmed, they wouldn't even notice that I'm being around. Even when it came to doing like videos for a wedding, or doing videos for breweries. Yeah, I try to capture some of these like legendary breweries in Vancouver, um, to document their how they got such an influence on the city. So yeah, like actually for Fuji, and still I'm using actually Fuji because of I just got stuck with the brand, and I felt like if this was loyal to me and so helpful, I should show like more appreciation. And I really like Sony, like whenever I like have a Sony in my hand, it's like, oh man, like I should probably change. Like,
Oh,
oh my
really?
god, this like so cool.
I feel
like,
the opposite.
the
Like, I
opposite.
fucking hate Sony.
Really?
It's okay. Yeah.
I really enjoy like having it, but whenever I just have the Fuji in my hand, I keep coming back to the idea that actually it serves my need just like super well. And probably if I would do the same, like something with Sony, it would look similar, and I should just rather focus on the story. And I
Good.
should like go back, okay,
Good.
let's just focus on the story, and you will see like if you need another camera, but it does the work. Like if I had that tiny Olympus one, probably in that case like I would need to switch, but for now I think
Olympus catching strays here. Olympus is great.
okay, that's true. No, it's like for photos.
No, I
absolutely.
feel you. I feel you. So that's a lot of dedication, though. Damn. So 3 years of schooling and working part time, and you have that 20-hour cap
Yeah,
with your work
exactly.
permit. So you have to be very careful and strategic with your money and how you use it. How was that? How was that for just kind of your general well-being in those 3 years? And then how did it feel to finally get that camera?
Being an immigrant in Canada, it can be challenging because you don't know anyone, especially from the creative field, but you don't really know like any people necessarily in your age. So it comes to like how to make friends, and then how to make friends who share the same interests with me. So at that time, I was like, I have to just study everything on my own. I didn't really have any friends that I could like reach out to. And taking pictures about like people at the beach and just like showing it to them, hey, I just took a nice image, like how do you like it, I'm happy to send it to you, kind of brought like friends actually, like without any like intention. Like it was not my idea of like going down. It's interesting that one of like my closest friends in Vancouver, uh were in I got to know them through by having a camera, because they saw me taking photos at Kids Beach, and they asked for a lighter.
Okay.
And they were like asked if I could want to join them, and since then we've been going for hikes, we've been together, we would spend Christmas together,
Oh,
and like so
nice.
camera brought like friends who are not necessarily photo related as well.
Right.
However, at the same time, it was definitely a help to to connect with other like creators as well, but it didn't really go as fast like
Yeah.
during that time. So when I was doing that dedicate like 3 years of like studying non-creative related work, it was just a hope that it's gonna change one day, and I have to find those forums where these people would connect, and you would join like you would find these groups like on Facebook, like photographers for Vancouver, but not many people posts, or like posts that you would find there are not always something that you would match with your need or interest. So you're still at the point like where to go.
Yeah.
You can't just walk into a bar and say, hey, hello you guys,
Well, I mean, Dale probably could.
can I be your friend? So it took
Fair.
a little while. Yeah.
How is the community side of things now? Like, has it improved over the years?
I have to say that when it comes to how I got to know the local like filmmakers, was also a less obvious path I took. I'm a big fan of Angels and the Airwaves. It's a band in
Yeah,
San
yeah.
Francisco. Peter McKinnon was doing a documentary about them that was never released. He had struggles with it. So in one of his videos, he asked for help from Mark Bone, how to do a proper documentary about that band because he was struggling with it. So Peter McKinnon introduced to his fans the art of documentary course, and I was like, oh wow, I never heard of that. I applied to the other like filmmaking schools, like in New York, to the New York Film Academy. What would be like $80,000 per year? Like you have to sell your apartment basically to work there. Or here, the Vancouver Film School would be just like extremely expensive. Like there is no way that like how. So that online course was like way more affordable, and at the same time cinematic, and kind of like putting that emphasis into the visual achievements that not always other film schools do, as I like had a look on their introduction videos.
And you already had the story aspect dialed down with your journalism, so you're like, I just give me the visual stuff.
Yeah, so that was like that came super handy, like that approach, and I was like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I can pay for it like way more affordable. And they had one more thing that was like very important, and like they created this Facebook group for those guys who paid for the course. So whoever paid for it could connect in it, and that was game changing. Like I after I paid for the course, I entered to the Facebook group, and I realized that there are like 20, 30 different photographers, video makers who have this very specific interest for documentary filmmaking, and I could finally like meet them and like connect them. And I remember like when I went to the first meeting at one of these breweries, Strathcona Brewery, I think it was Strathcona, I was almost like, I was so emotional. I felt like that kind of meeting was like when you go to university and the first time you meet your future classmates with people who you share the same like mindset. And I was like keep remembering, reminding myself that 3 years ago at that time, 3 years before, I left my friends, my family, the place I was super like familiar with, to go into the unknown and see what it has got to do with me, or like what I can find there, and then all in, see what happens. And 3 years later, I was in a place where I have a place to stay, I have a work I'm doing, I have my camera, and now I just got the chance to meet with people with the same interest. And I was like, yes, I'm getting there.
Wow.
And it felt like just even even like thinking back, it was just a moment when it was like a validation of like, I'm probably on the right tracks.
What was your guiding star throughout that process? For example, would you say you had goals set up? Did you picture this, or was it just, I'm going to stick to this one thing and let everything else kind of fall into place?
Yes. Yes.
Second one.
No, yeah, exactly.
What was that thing?
So the one that like showed me the path, or like what I had like in mind. I remember when I was doing the online the course here in Vancouver to have the work permit, and I had courses with like people who were interested in social media studies, and I was like, it's gonna be so cool one day when I will be having like a call during pandemic, when I will be having a call with people that we are not studying together, but we are working together and we are brainstorming on documentaries. And I was like, it's gonna come here. It's gonna come one day. It's gonna come for me, but I will have to just show more patience. And when we're doing the documentary together with June, it's called Quitter.
Yeah, introduce what you're talking about.
Sorry, yeah. There was a documentary we did together with June. We were co-directors, and there was Richard Lamb and Joshua
Abdallah.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Josh. So the four of us worked on a documentary about a runner. It was called Quitter, for an art of documentary competition. Everything had to be shot in one day, and it was a super exciting project.
One day doc.
The guy running across Canada?
No.
It was, yes, there was one that's a different documentary.
Okay,
It's about a runner who quits from everything in life, or like many things in life, and from law studies, from dancing, from a bunch of other stuff. And during the pandemic, he starts to run, and running gives him back the belief that he can finish things in life. And at the end of the movie, basically, he goes back to his parents and he tells them that, hey, I want to continue doing law school. And running kind of taught that
Oh
to him.
wow, that sounds amazing.
It was a very, very cool
I
project.
really want to watch it. Where is it?
It's a good thing. Good
Probably
question.
your website, I think.
maybe on Richard's like Vimeo.
Maybe.
We'll link it in the
Yeah,
chat.
Yeah,
we
we'll
have to find
find.
it.
Yeah, send it to me.
And then we'll link it.
maybe,
Yeah.
So the reason why I brought it up, like before, like we were having calls with people who we were studying with, and I didn't really have any like connection with. We just like happened to be at the same course, but when we were doing the doc, we were doing pre-production work. We were like planning like how to have the different, what lens to use, what would be the ideal location to shoot at. And I was like, yes, this is exactly why I'm here. This is exactly why I feel so lucky that these people who are all from Canada. Actually, I was the only one coming from who was born in another country, as far as I know.
I think so. I don't know where Richard was born in, but yeah.
And they accepted me, and they were open for my thoughts, and they were open to my ideas, even though I just came from a different place, and it was just such an honor, like truly. And so at that moment I was like, yes, I have to keep doing this. But this is what I would like show to my dad, like when I go back, like, hey, these guys were open, for me, and we could like work together. And I'm getting to the point where what I put up on my
Vision board.
Yes,
That's beautiful. Do you think at the time you felt like they were seeing you as a creator and not as an immigrant then?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
an equal.
very, very, very exactly. Very, very punctual. At the same time, I have to admit that living in Canada has always been just so like open to me, like from the everyday basis, like in general, with like meeting people, that they were like never really treated me as an immigrant, unlike I experienced it in other countries.
Oh, interesting.
Like when even in Europe, I spent a few months before, like in England. And whenever I was just like, okay, side note, I was working at the Olympic Games back in 2012 at the London Olympics.
I was an engineer
The
there.
most interesting side notes.
No, it was just like a summer job during that time. And it was definitely like different. Like I would be reminded almost on a daily basis that I am an immigrant here.
Interesting.
Brutal.
Like way more raw. Like the way how people would treat each other. And when it comes to Canada, you can always run into assholes, like who would like also remind you that like, what the hell are you doing here? Okay, not that bad, but people who wouldn't be just so nice. But at the same time, I have to admit that like 99% of the time, like people are just so welcoming and just so open to work together or ask for my opinion. And to say things like they were maybe influenced by like some of my ideas, what would be like, just wow. Like,
I love that.
Very, very
I love
nice.
that for you, man.
Yeah, it's so awesome to hear like that story of like you had this vision of being in the creative field and collaborating with others, and it took you a really long time and traveling across the other side of the world to get there. And yeah, when that moment clicks and you find your family, like you find your home, like in so many ways, it's such a it's an incredibly rewarding feeling.
Yes, 100%.
Is that what you feel too, Dale? Because you technically did a similar journey, right?
Yeah, very much so. Like I came from Australia to Vancouver in 2010, and knew no one basically. I knew a couple of people across Canada, but none of them were in the creative field. So I was, basically starting out alone, and had to, find my way. And yeah, I've met some people in a bar because I was taking photos of them, jamming out on some instruments, and they saw the photos and liked them, and introduced me to someone who worked at Red Bull as well. And so Red Bull had a massive impact on my career.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that that company and brand kind of helped launch in some ways like both of our careers, or like get us like into the creative field. And yeah, like it was a really long struggle from there, because yeah, that freelance journey, and there wasn't much of a community like back then in 2010. Like I didn't know where to find, photographer and filmmaker community. And like I started finding them when I started producing video and photo jobs, and I would have to hire people, and it was like one person at a time, but there weren't many like meetups or anything like that. And so yeah, when AOD kind of came along, that was my first and that was nice because it was kind of like after the pandemic had started like easing out, and it was that one of those first kind of meetups where you're just hanging out with a bunch of strangers, and yeah, it's really cool to be amongst other creatives. And then from there, you just get a bunch of contacts, and you can start hanging out independently. And then the Vancouver freelance community started up, and that started being like a monthly meetup. And then that's where I started running into Balazs like every month almost, because you've been to like all of them, and June started going to them, or June's been going to them for a long time. And so, yeah, it's just, I feel like that community aspect has really brought everyone together, and it feels much more like a family now, and feels like we've got like co-workers, because that was the thing that I missed from being in a full-time job with like, other staff. Like when you move from another country, like they become your closest family and friends, are the people that you work with, because you see them every single day for 8 hours a day. So you can form relationships with those people. But moving to another country and trying to be a freelancer, like you're sticking it out by yourself for the most part, and you're having to just go down your own journey, and you don't really have coworkers anymore. So it can be a very lonely period of your life, like until you find that community. So when you then find yourself in a room of people and everyone's sharing and on the same page, and you feel like your opinions like matters, and you create something together that's better than anything you do by yourself. It's such an awesome feeling. So I'm so stoked for you that you like found that.
Wow. Amen.
Yeah.
Man, no, you couldn't have said better. Exactly. Like every single word that you told I can just agree with. Yeah. Very, very true. I remember, like, I don't know how you experience it in Toronto, but I've been like comparing the creative community to Budapest. Like the
we're going to ask you about that actually. Yeah. Like how does it compare from Vancouver to Budapest?
Like, I keep comparing like it in mind, and whenever I speak to friends, I would be asking like, what is it like over there? And first of all, there's a different mindset if you live in North America and in Europe, no matter which country it is. And beside that,
yeah, they're all communist over there, aren't they?
Whoa. No, that's I wouldn't say it's like that. It's more like there are language barriers. What keeps that makes like certain like countries to kind of like
isolate themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're a creator, there's not much of a chance that you would be hired outside of that country. Might happen, but normally creators would work in their own country, so they can only count with a tiny market. So maybe giving you an example, there are 10 million people living in Budapest, and there are way more creative people and agencies than what the population actually needs. So the competition is just so extreme and so dense.
So even community gets affected then? Or
yeah, so it would get affected. It would definitely would be hard to find a job. You have to probably spend more time with it. I'm like we're in an era where it's like everything shifting more to like visual, from written to visual. So more and more like visuals are needed. But at the same time, as I like look back, The environment was definitely not as welcoming as in Vancouver,
Interesting.
because there would be a lot of gossip.
Oh.
Yeah, and a lot of competition.
Like they're trying to take each other down, sort of thing.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Or
Wow.
they would be like, like kind of, like talking behind each other's back, like, like who is getting like the main contractor is like, where he's like,
Okay.
who is working he with, or she, or like there would be, just a lot of gossip and bittersweet moments when you realize that. And coming to Vancouver, and I just mentioned like before, you can always run into like, like people with
Assholes, yeah.
like with bad intentions, but it's just unreal like how open and inviting and just welcoming people can be. And I experience it almost in every field of like creative work. I have a friend who recently moved from Toronto to Vancouver, and he started his marketing hub, where he would be like inviting many marketing people. And there is already a similar marketing hub happening in Vancouver. And the one who is doing the original, he would be inviting, the new guy and showing support that, hey, here is
Wow.
another one who is doing his show.
That's
It's a little
amazing.
maybe different, but it's also about marketing. And I really recommend to go there.
Wow.
And, and he would be introducing the guy and talk about him. And it's like, wow, like it's such an inspiration way of like embracing someone or lifting up and giving the chance
sure.
and giving platform.
Yeah, I feel that way too. In Brazil, I think it's also very competitive, and for me, it was interesting to see, for example, working with Dale, how open he is to bring more people, to help other people, to share his secrets on how to get more clients and stuff. And I'm like, at the beginning, it was like, oh, why he's sharing this? Like, he shouldn't share anything. But I was like, you know what? Maybe he should, because then the other people he's helping now, maybe in the future will call him and we can be a community instead of being against each other. So I feel that way too. I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, I feel like coming from a very competitive place, I felt that I always had to go above and beyond to lock that gig or to secure that job. Did you feel the same way as well? And do you think it's different here in Vancouver?
Yes, absolutely. Like in Budapest, like how I can like compare it to, like, mainly it's the language barrier that would be like keeping people in their own country and doing their content just over like that place. And because also the state itself would be sponsoring many different agencies. There are agencies who are like seeking for independence, but at the same time, because the market is heavily influenced by the state and like how they spend their own like yearly communication money with different agencies, like people would be like doing gossip, like, oh, I know you're doing, for the government, you are doing that communication thing for the government, or
Right.
you're like doing any advertisements for them. And it's like politics like very much has like a big impact. And I also have to admit that politically Hungary is like very extreme wing these days, like super rightist.
Yeah.
And like it's horrible.
So Vancouver worked out for you. It sounds like it's just a good fit for you overall.
Absolutely.
Maybe just to end off this section then
Yeah.
with starting over in a new country. If somebody's listening to this podcast now, could we get a tip from each of you? Because you all three of you did that move, right? And then Bruna, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, if we start with you, what are 3 tips for anybody starting over in a new country when it comes to freelance?
I think a big one, it would be, and nowadays we have more resources, so it would be networking, getting to know people and talk to people about how things work here. Because as we were saying, things might work differently in different countries and everything. So I think get that information from other people to help you make your way through. It's a big thing.
Where would you start to find those people?
I would start looking into LinkedIn, and as well as like Instagram agencies, and try to find people there or even Facebook groups and stuff.
Nice.
In my case, like producers in Vancouver and stuff like that join these groups and try to connect to people.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Tidy?
I would say like a good way to start getting noticed in a new city is to just bring your camera with you everywhere. Shoot photos at every single event, and just start kind of posting them. And like you don't know who you're going to get noticed by at that point. And the other like tip I would give, because someone who came over from England, they reached out to me. And just hit me up in a DM, like being like, hey, like I really like, the sort of content that your company's making. Would love to buy you a coffee and just learn more about it. And I'm like, sure, that sounds great. And I was living in Toronto at the time, went for coffee with this guy, really nice dude. And I ended up like, just after meeting him for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, we got chatting. I got a sense of who he was, and like the quality of the work was amazing. And so the next opportunity I had to hire someone, I brought him on. And so like, I think just finding local, filmmakers or photographers or whatever you want to do in the neighborhood that you're in, and just offering to take them out for a coffee, like $5, to potentially land a client, that's a pretty good deal. And
I
so,
don't think they sell coffees for $5
Yeah, now it's like
anymore.
7 or 8,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
well, Tim Hortons, yo,
Oh, yo, $2.
but don't take someone to Tim
So
Hortons. That's a
true.
bad idea.
Really? I'm okay
Yeah,
to Tim
yeah, yeah.
Hortons. Anybody listening? I like Timmy's.
Yeah, but would you take a prospect client there? Like that's just disrespectful.
I'm so curious now. Who is this person from England? Is Lewis?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Lewis, like he's now our main video editor and one of our like go-to shooters as well. He's a very talented dude, and it just all came about by him getting to a new country and just jumping into the DMs and messaging people. So that would be something I would recommend to people.
Good tips.
Give some time to understand the culture, like in a way that you, if I giving a recommendation or otherwise to someone who's coming from Central European countries or maybe from Europe, that I think it's really worth to just slow down for a little, maybe watch some videos and like connect with people who are not necessarily in the creative field, and kind of have like understanding of like the way they think, or like how a communication, like how a conversation would go if you want to explain your ideas to a contractor, or like you want to a future employer. Probably it's better to assimilate, like in a way how you have an understanding of what would be the culture, like values that it's better to implement, and maybe to accentuate like community wise as well.
Just like even daily life culture, it sounds like beyond work culture even.
Yes, like when
Yeah.
it comes to like patience, like it's better, I think, not to be like pushy. And I think people like to work with who show like kindness, and who would show awareness of like about vulnerable people, and like when it comes to understanding a little just like what empathy like means, and compassion to like to people. When it comes to like countries where I lived before, outside of Canada, was not part of the requirements to get a job. And here I feel like you have to be a nice person, like a genuinely nice person, and who would be just understanding the culture and values here to work with, to get hired, and for getting returning customers or like partners.
Love
For
it.
sure.
Yeah, I think a big thing in Canada is it's not necessarily like the quality of your work. It's like the quality of how good you are to hang out with. Like it's a massive
Relationships
thing.
is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I've actually seen like the quality of the content coming out of places like Eastern Europe is so high because of that competition level there. Like the people there are so freaking talented. They're fighting for like a much smaller pie. And so you really got to put the effort in and stand out. But here it's like the quality doesn't need to be that high, I think. But you need to be, to last in this industry a long time, you have to be a really great person to work with. because like you have the pick of like who you want to work with, and who's going to hire the person that's like, you know, unpredictable or moody, when you just want someone who's 100% of the time like good to hang out with and can do the job. You know, like being an exceptional person is way better than being an exceptionally talented like filmmaker.
Yeah.
I would say.
100%.
that.
Yeah. If you don't mind, to add that, like, you know, like everyone can like wake up with a bad mood, so it's
Yeah.
absolutely like it happens. But it happened to like to me in Vancouver that there were like, just as you were saying, filmmakers with great talent, but having an aggressive way of like working. Like, I remember like we were doing like a 1 day, what's the name of that, the run and gun competition, when you guys have to film a short
RNG
movie
Fest or something.
like in 1 day, and we were in rush and we had to submit the movie in a few hours, and I was doing the editing and I was trying to understand the timeline, and this person who was like next to me was like so impatient because she was not from Canada. She like took my computer and she just started to like edit while I was trying to understand the timeline, and I was like, whoa,
Excuse
like,
me?
excuse me, like this, like without saying anything. I was like, and she was like, like, or the person was like pressing the button sometimes in it. And I was like, well, I'm not sure if this is like a method that I would like to experience again. So sorry, I'm probably not gonna work together.
Yeah.
Even though she was really good, but at the
Hmm.
same time, like, yeah, we don't really have time for people like who it's just like such a frustration they bring on set.
True.
Nice.
Yeah.
So kind of recapping this then, so the 3 tips are from Bruna. It was networking online, find some groups for in-person meetups that you can attend
Yeah. And try to understand how things work
to
here.
learn kind of
Yeah.
the work culture of things.
Exactly.
They always bring camera everywhere you go, which I love because I do that anyways. And the second one was
Slide into the DMs.
DMs. That's right.
And they'll go to Tim Hardens.
Yeah. It also helps if you're gustoso, but do that too. So work on your appearance first and then DM second. And then Balazs was learn about even just broader culture and just daily life and communication, it seems like, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah, like
everybody-
showing genuine kindness and not just like for profit, but like implement that like way like mindset into your everyday.
Love it.
Awesome.
Okay, so as you mentioned, we worked on that Quitter doc, and I was the only non-AOD person there, so I still don't know how that happened. But as a non-AOD person and seeing all you people, which is you were in AOD, right? You took the course?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't take it like it took me like
Fully.
3 years to,
Oh, okay.
to go through all the modules.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome, though. So you had 3 years of access.
Oh yeah, no, you have unlimited. You have indefinite access
Incredible.
to the whatever module you purchase. Then you can always go back to it for reference, which is really nice.
Nice. So Dale took the course, completed it eventually, and then Balazs, you also took the course, correct?
Yes, I took the foundations and then how to. But there is a course built on the
Oh,
foundation.
there's multiple.
There are multiple, and then I did the perfect cut. What would be about editing?
Okay. So total 3
Three.
courses, it sounds like.
I think they have like 5 or 6 by now. More like create and earn, so the producer like side of it, and then a cinematic eye. What would be focusing on how to be behind the camera.
Okay. I need your unfiltered opinions and reviews on this course. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I 100% recommend it because it's, to me, I bought it because I never went to film school, and so just having at least that foundation course, you can watch it and do all the modules, and you'll have like a base understanding of kind of all of the steps you need to kind of make a documentary film. But for me, it actually wasn't the main thing that ended up being the value for me for AOD, and it didn't come until quite a few years later, once these Facebook community groups started to drop. Now we have like in the Facebook communities, there's like one for Vancouver, there's one for Alberta, there's one for Montreal, there's one for Toronto. And so now anytime I need to hire someone in those areas, like rather than have to like ask around, like I can just go to the community chat like of wherever I need to hire someone and be like, hey, I'm looking for like an audio op or like a camera like op or a filmmaker, photographer, whatever, and like whoever is going to reply is someone that's in the art of documentary community, you know, who is probably pretty serious about it because they've been willing to spend like the $500 or $600. So like it's like a little bit of a gate that tells you that the person is serious. And so if you get recommendations from within that group, like they're probably going to be decent recommendations of like active working filmmakers. So I've found those communities to be the most valuable aspect of AOD. Yeah, totally unexpected. And like it didn't happen right away when I purchased it. It wasn't something I knew was going to be valuable, but that is now by far the most valuable aspect is the community side of AOD. And that's kind of what birthed, I guess, like the other meetups as well. So props to them for making these communities kind of happen, like and pretty organically too, I think.
Yeah, that's so true. That I can relate to that, like 100%. Getting to know people, like in your local community, and also if you want to hire others, like in other cities. And my current job, where I just like transitioned to as a like a producer in the future, like this is like what I'm going to do, like getting photographers, videographers, like all across Canada, and like through that group, and to or maybe to get to know someone through them.
Yeah.
Like locally. So it's a great gate what they have, like that you have to pay for it. So it's like way more of a valuable like person to get in touch with.
Yeah, you don't just get everyone, anyone who has the internet can't just be in there, you know. It's like you're going to get some level of quality control with that gate. So I think if you're a producer, like it's a absolute, essential tool to have if you want to work with other people across the country or, the US and probably in other places around the world.
If they didn't have the community part, would you still recommend it?
I think it just depends on like how much you're kind of missing as far as like the skill set of filmmaking. Like I don't think there was anything like too groundbreaking for me, at least in the foundations, but I'd been doing it for like 5 years, creating videos like in films for 5 years. So like for me, there wasn't nothing major there. But I think for someone who's like more just starting out or, they might get a lot more valuable out of the actual modules.
Which would be Balazs, right? That's kind of when you first picked up a camera. Was it around that time you took the course?
Yes.
Okay. So how was it for you from the content perspective?
Yeah. And would you recommend AOD?
I would definitely recommend AOD from a perspective that it gave me confidence.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I wanted to do an interview, for example, I knew that I need to use lights, but to how to use those lights and with like where to how to set them up or where to set them up, you can kind of get that information from YouTube, but you have to find those different YouTube like channels and videos to get like more of an understanding like how that would work. However, like documentary Art of Documentary would like collect all that information that you need if you have a documentary focused filmmaking idea or a documentary style filmmaking idea, because there is a big difference.
To more than just documentaries.
Like from a perspective that there are many people in that course who are not really making documentaries, more like advertisements in the documentary film style. And I think it's as a journalist I really want to make a difference between that, because it's I'm like, just because of it looks similar, it's not necessarily documenting something in its natural like way of acting or natural habitat. And when it comes to like showing like telling some critics when it comes to the course would be that I'm not entirely sure if they are only like they can be called like documentary course, because the emphasis on the journalist aspect, ethics, or like how to do interviews and what you can ask or what you shouldn't ask. Can you become like a friend of the person that you're doing the interview with? They would touch these like topics, but I think it needs like way more of like an understanding like how to become like a journalist.
That's a really good point. I think that's maybe something they could address in like a kind of future module is like, the journalistic aspect and ethics, because that's a big part that's missing in modern day media, is any sense of that. Unless you come from a traditional journalism background, you would probably not encounter that being spoken about at all. And it's a kind of like a lost art that's happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like filmmakers wouldn't really realize how much responsibility they have by releasing a documentary, because what can happen that maybe they would introduce a person who is fascinating, but maybe 60% of what he's saying is a lie.
Yeah.
And it happened to me.
Oh.
I did an interview with the guy who is an established actor in Budapest, and he was survivor of mass killing during a revolution in the 60s. And he told me that like how he and his family and his friends were standing in front of a wall, and everyone was shot.
Yeah.
And he was shot as well, and he was thrown into a grave where one of the grave digger noticed that his finger was moving. They pulled him out and they took him to a doctor secretly, and that's how he survived. And so I recorded the
Wait, was
entire
that true?
interview. So it turned out that I can't say that it's not true. However, this guy had like many scandals happening against him that were not true. Like he stated many things in his book and in other interviews that historians proved that it can be possible because he was not even there, or like whatever, like stories like were absolutely like mesmerizing to listen to, they couldn't be true because it didn't happen where it was like told by him. So many oh yeah, that was another thing. He told everyone in Hungary that there was a very famous picture about a kid holding a gun, and it was him. And suddenly the daughter of the actual person who was in the picture showed up and saying, no, it's not you, it's my dad who died a few years ago. And that's how this actor lost his credibility, like entirely. And I had this interview with this fascinating story, and I had to throw it away entirely. And I was super close, to release it. So
because you couldn't verify whether it was true.
Yes, exactly.
And because you couldn't trust this person.
And if I publish it in the future, how can I expect people to trust me if I didn't do enough research, making sure that and it comes back to the responsibility of mine as a doc filmmaker, that whatever I release is 100% true.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like I made sure that it can be verified. So like this responsibility, I think, needs to be a little more accentuated throughout the course.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of that, do you want to talk a little bit about Leona Green and Dirty Kids?
Oh, thank you very much for asking. Yeah, this is like 2 documentary projects we are like working on. I have to say, one of the hardest thing for documentary filmmakers is to find the actual character. Like executing is like when you are after the finish line and you're like, running, but by the time you get to the finish line and you decide who to invest like that much of time into, and it's not necessarily for profit, it's more like for fun and to broadcast an interesting story. So that is like the most time consuming thing. You have to do so many pre-interviews, get to know that person, whether if it's legit or whether if it's going to be the story that you want to tell. So we are at the process when we are getting to know these different like characters. Leona Green is a New Westminster resident. She has a deli, and she would be doing extremely amount of charity work in the local community. The way how I would try to find my characters, I would post a question on Reddit asking, who is your favorite? Who is the most fascinating people you ever met in Vancouver?
That is such a good idea to find.
Actually blew up that post too.
That post, yeah. I had like 200
awesome.
like people that was recommended. And I posted the same question to different Facebook groups like New Westminster, Burnaby, wherever. And Leona Green was one of the most recommended person in these like forums. So I was like, okay, who is her? And I found these articles. She got all the merits that a person can get in BC. And I went to film her a few days ago. She was doing a charity work for the Lapu Lapu Festival, gratitude. And then she had she had a guest coming from Los Angeles to help with the fundraising, and it was the soup Nazi guy from the
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, yeah. So he was like giving all the soup away, and they could get some like
that
extra
was through
money.
her. Interesting.
Extra money for that through donations, and they could like give that to charity. So she has been doing that for a long time, and that's why the community has like been like yeah, just adore her.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm trying to get to know how to tell her story. Like right now I feel like it would be a great feature report in the news channel. Here is a very interesting
Great person.
Yeah.
person, and let's get to know her. However, like as doc filmmakers, we're trying to find like a narrative, exactly, and how
Where's
to
the drama?
go through
The conflict.
Who did she kill to get here?
yeah, like it's crazy. Like her son.
Why is she so nice? That's
her
so
s-
weird.
Her son, her son would be like working for her, and he started an Instagram and TikTok channel 4 months ago, and now he has like 500,000 followers.
Wow.
And the only
That's
thing
incredible.
that he does is like filming like how he would deliver food to people. It's unreal, and he's so entertaining the way he does it. It's like a little gangster, kind of vibe dude. Very entertaining.
Interesting.
So this is Leona Green, and the other thing is like a few weeks ago I was walking on Commercial. It's like a street in Vancouver, and I saw these two people playing on a banjo with this like true detective, like kind of like interior like look, like with these like amazing hats and like cloths and everything, and they were like tattoos all over the face, like body and the face. So I took a photo like I usually do of people on the streets, and they were like coming after me and asking for the photo, and then we kind of started to follow each other on Instagram, and they are like part of the Dirty Kid community that I have never heard of until that point. What is basically about people who decide to be like homeless and like just live on the street, play music, and then do train hopping.
Wow.
And they would be like getting on different commercial trains and just like traveling through the country and perform in different cities on the street.
Wow. So that entire kind of lifestyle is called Dirty Kids?
Yes. And normally they don't do drugs, but it's changing.
Oh.
And like as I saw on different forums, like the way how formal Dirty Kids community people would criticize the current trend is like,
Wow.
you guys shouldn't do drugs. This was not about that. This was like a modern era hippie.
What a
like,
story.
Hippie, yeah, very interesting one.
That transition.
And the additional like part of it is like this guy who is like the main banjo player. He has a boat, and he would be like going around in the Vancouver Island and places like that. And yeah, that would be something I'd love to capture.
Holy cow. So both of these are just passion projects. They're not for like
Yes.
AOD or RNG
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah, I think to become like an accomplished like documentary filmmaker, you always have to have these like passion projects, and then you build your portfolio based on that, and then you can probably come to the point where someone would hire you for a job, or you can make some money from it. But from my experience, if you want to, get like some nice coffees, even they are expensive, and if you want to, I don't know, travel and you want to see the world, you have to have some other works beside your passion stuff.
That was really great to hear about, like, the emphasis on like personal projects, because when you don't have any examples of making documentaries, like very few people are going to give you the money to go out and film a documentary. Like you need to be able to present to people and give them the confidence of that. You've landed a job where you can now start like working on these like projects and getting paid good money to do these for your new the new company you're working for. But when it comes to freelancing, like what does like success as a freelancer look like for you?
When it comes to just making documentaries,
That could be your answer.
maybe if that, like how to stay independent from the person who hires me, like how to make a movie that will be objective, that will explain a story from different angles and not gonna be biased in any way, and at the same time feeds me.
So what does that look like to you? If you could imagine it, then what is end game for this creative journey?
For this end game, yes. As an end game, I think it would be great to come to the point where I can have multiple documentary like stories in mind and to work on that would bring awareness to vulnerable people. I think who would be inspiring in the future and show more and bring compassion to others. I think that's one of like my main point. And at the same time, make these movies like super interesting, like throughout that 90 minutes. So having multiple projects like in parallel and at the same time make some money from it. I think it would be very nice, but it takes a few decades to get to that point.
I love it. I think it's kind of very reminiscent of your journey in the first few years in Vancouver. That's your kind of guiding principle and guiding star, right? It's just documentaries. That's it.
100%.
I want to tell very objective and authentic documentaries, and that's it. Somehow connect that to money. But
Yes.
no concrete idea of how that's going to happen, but hopefully it just falls into place.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There is one channel that I find super inspiring. It's called Channel 5.
Yep.
At the same time, their style is a little different what I envision. It's way more trashy and just like going out on the streets and filming stuff. They would be making money from YouTube, for example, or
Exactly.
from selling documentaries directly by the creator to the audience, what is like very cool. At the same time, it's probably I would make them in a different like style, but that's like something that is inspiring, like how to distribute it.
Love it. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. That's going to wrap up the main portion of the episode.
Thank you.
We got some segments.
Yeah, but quickly, how will people be able to find more about you and like where to find the documentary films that you've worked on in the past and in the future?
Thank you for asking. Basically, I communicate with people on Instagram. I would be checking the folders that are not like direct messages, but you would never seen them. We all got we were all there when we message and we never get the answer right. So I would try to avoid that with others. So Instagram.com/Horvath Balazs. In Hungary, we have the names in a different order.
It's like Korean.
It's like, yeah, exactly. And then my website would be balazshorvath.ca. And and this is what I would like. In LinkedIn, Balazs Horvath. You guys can find me there, pretty sure.
Fuck, I gotta get on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
There are only a few hundreds of us. Actually a funny story with that. I never met with another Balazs Horvath until I came to Vancouver.
Really?
And I was hired by him to do a video about the Vancouver shore. And it was just he and me like filming. And when it came to the credit, we had like such a hard time like how to put like us on the
Wow.
credit list.
That is
because
too funny.
Balazs
man.
1, Balazs
None
2.
of us had like a third name. So we were like, how? Like who's gonna be the one?
One is, yeah. How do you do that? I guess one reverses the order, right? One is Balazs Horvath and
could
the
have
other is
done that,
Horvath
actually.
Balazs,
You
right?
guys should
Yeah.
make a documentary together about each
About
other
you
or
two?
something like that. It's like, well, how can they be in two places at the same time? How can one be the talent
The
and
rise of
the-
Balazs Horvath.
It was unreal, and we could elevate that into another
Just everywhere.
another stage when I was looking at my Facebook profile photo. No, actually, I was looking at his, and then I noticed, like, okay, this is Balazs Horvath next to the Golden Gate Bridge. And I went back to mine, and holy fucking shit, I'm standing on my picture next to the Golden Gate Bridge. I was like, how?
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, a really, really scary...
That's
You
the
guys
next
are like
dog.
Oh my
living in the same
gosh.
like
That's the next dog.
accidental timeline.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
You were the same
Yo,
person.
let's get him on the potty.
I'm like, it's,
Yeah.
it's
everywhere. Balazs is everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
I
All at
mean,
once or
which
whatever.
Balazs we're seeing right now?
exactly. Did you invite the right one? Yeah.
Welcome to
What do you use? It's just gonna be rapid fire. We're gonna go through a couple of different things and see what software or tools that you use. First one, software for project management.
Asana or Trello or TickTick. That's a very good one. Have you guys used that?
I use TikTok.
Oh my God, it's so good. Actually, I know you were the only one who's following that Instagram account as I do.
Yeah, I like the Eisenhower matrix. If you know what that is, it's
I have
like
no idea.
it's in the app. You drag things from like important and
Oh, the quadrants.
there's 4 quadrants: important and urgent, important and not urgent,
Not
urgent
important.
and not important,
Right.
and not urgent and not important.
Okay.
And you just drag your tasks like between those quadrants, so then you can kind of prioritize
Yes.
based on those. And I don't know,
Yes.
I only really ever get around to doing the urgent and important ones, but that's good. And then you realize what tasks like don't actually need to get done. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
What software do you use for email?
Gmail,
What do you use for file storage and sharing?
Google Drive.
Client revisions. So, for example, Frame.io.
I would like send them a link to the folder, and they would like get back to me in email. I think it needs to be get on another level. Like Frame.io is like way more of a professional one. So yeah,
I get by with email.
but yeah, they would like do like a time coding in an email.
Yeah.
Nice.
What video editing software do you use?
I would use different one for different type of material. I use Final Cut for social edits and CapCut when it comes to like the one that I like company that I work with. Canva would be a necessarily one because of templates,
Interesting.
how they have to be edited and how to make sure that they are consistent with the company's like branding. However, what I like to use is more like DaVinci, especially because of the color grading feature,
Good man.
and and also like Premiere when it comes to working with others, because that's the industry standard. And it happened before that as an editor, I was the only one using back at the time like Final Cut. Everyone else was using Premiere or DaVinci, and I couldn't really pass the files, so we had to recut the entire movie because we couldn't like transfer like the entire time.
Yeah, the XML just failed. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, I use like all different like softwares for different purposes.
Multi-talented.
Wow, that is
Well,
crazy.
I wish I was just professional at least in one of them. I
Give
have a
yourself credit. Give yourself credit.
It's more like a shallow knowledge of many softwares.
Speaking of that, then, what about photo editing? What do you use for photos?
Lightroom Classic.
Beauty.
What do you use to host your website?
It's the expensive one.
Squarespace?
Squarespace.
And last one, where do you source your songs?
Artlist.io.
Nice.
Right. Like, yeah.
That's it.
I'm like the advertisement list keep coming in, so it's like
I know. I
Artlist
always
is
get
king.
them on YouTube.
Artlist is king. Welcome to
Would you rather?
first one. Viral documentary on YouTube versus popular in film festivals only.
probably I would viral on YouTube. I really like that short documentary about the lady fixing bikes in her van in Vancouver. And it came as an ad in YouTube. And at the end, it turned out it was a TurboTax ad. And I love that companies would invest into a 10 minutes long documentary as an advertisement. So I went straight in doing my taxes in the TurboTax because of that. Because they were super cool, like, you know, putting that much money into such an advertisement.
Okay.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, there is no chance that I would see that short documentary at a film festival because
Nice,
it was
a
just
bigger
too
audience.
short. Yeah.
You should pitch your documentaries to them.
To TurboTax?
Yeah.
It's so funny when you see a documentary that's just about something, and then it's just there's all of a sudden a logo at the end, you know, that it's like, oh, good for them. They
Exactly.
funded it.
Yeah. I didn't expect at all that I was about to watch a way longer video than the original video I was about to watch.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
We love when
happens.
brands do that, though.
Yeah.
Support the arts.
Yeah, shout out TurboTax. But also fuck you, Texas. Okay, number 2.
Shooting one documentary for 10 years or one every year?
One every year, probably. I would say that there are like so many interesting characters that I would like to introduce than just only one. I'm like, you can like film one super interesting person for like 10 years. I don't think that it would like can go in parallel. So if I have to choose, probably like one character per year.
Only able to direct projects for the next 5 years, so only being a director,
Mhm.
or only able to edit, but you never have revisions. Money is the same.
I think the first one, that it's just good to have like more control.
Being able to take photos or videos with your eyes, or being able to zoom in with your eyes, but no photo and video capabilities?
Wow, this is
A very important question, Balazs. Think about this carefully.
What's the
wow.
zoom range on that? Like 20
Yeah.
times?
So you can zoom in, but you can capture it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the first one probably.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, it's great to zoom in, but then you would become rather like a stalker. I feel like
Same with the first one, though.
then documenting it. Like as a journalist, you need a proof. When you state something, you need to verify it.
That'd be helpful.
And I think if I can see things, people wouldn't believe it, and I don't have like the proof showing it actually happened.
Right.
Fair. Would you rather be a world famous musician or director?
So Jared Leto is doing it very well because he has been doing documentaries and like music aside. I think it's time management. I can choose. Like both of them are just so attractive. Like creating just, I don't know, something entertaining and so unfortunately I can choose, but I would rather not sleep.
And be both.
And do both. Yes.
Good answer.
All right.
I guess we kind of answered
Yeah, we
that.
kind of already answered this, but we'll get it on tape. Budapest creative community versus Vancouver's
You
creative
pronounced
community.
the city perfectly, by the way. Thank
Thanks.
you very
I
much.
mimicked you from
Yeah, I
earlier.
learned that today.
That's
Well, I've
something-
been there too, and
I really appreciate that. Yeah. So the Hungarian creative community or the Vancouver, I feel better in the Vancouver like base one. So yeah, I would go with the Vancouver base. Whenever I have like a conversation or whenever we hang out with, I don't know, people here, whenever I buy something from Marketplace, I have to get prepared that it's not going to be like a quick transaction. Right? It's
Yeah.
gonna take half an hour. It's gonna be a nice conversation. You're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna, get
That's
a
me.
new follower on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that. Like
Yeah.
this has never ever happened to me before, and I
Oh.
love it.
You know what? One of the people we hire the most, and now is a friend, we met through
Marketplace.
Marketplace. I think a camera you saw,
Yeah,
Cody.
the Sigma 18 to 35.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a lens that's meant to be bought and sold over
Yeah.
and over and over.
It's the biggest horror of a lens.
True. We're again comparing, but Hungary and Canada, in terms of livability in your journey and your experience, which one's more livable, Hungary or Canada?
As a country, I would say that definitely Canada. For like Hungary is very close to Ukraine. It has a big impact on the current war happening, inflation. And, I don't want to go into details, but
No
I
worries.
keep being informed like through friends and like how life has been over there, and it gives me a great sadness, and it like sometimes make me feel like not to post things about how well I feel in Vancouver because I don't want to trigger my friends like showing that like I'm living a really good life. Meanwhile, friends are like suffering like because of I don't know, inflation or not being able to get a good job or stuff like that. So definitely like living, it's just easier. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Mind reading for your documentary subjects or mind control?
I think reading. I'm like, if you're reading mine, I wonder if then you want to still. I'm like, you can still kind of like come up with the right questions, but you already know the answer, right? And
So it's just as bad as control. Oh, interesting. Because I thought you would be instantly no control because of ethics, right? But yeah,
Yes,
if you can
it's
read the
very
mind,
true.
you can kind of already.
yeah, you
And
kind
Same
you're
thing.
gonna know if it's true or not.
Oh, at least that's good.
Yeah, it's great for the ethics component.
Thank you for giving me the. Oh yeah, absolutely yes.
That's
Then
the
first
answer.
one. Yes,
Genius.
thank you. Very good. Exactly.
So your answer is?
My answer would be the first one. Mind reading gives me the ability to instantly double check whether if it's true.
Good.
It's like, you're fucking lying. I know.
Okay, last wild card maybe, just because I'm curious. Fujifilm. Okay, how do I make this so that's not super spicy?
Make
You
it
go
spicy,
for
bro.
spicy.
Sony with.
Make it spicy.
Well, no, it's okay for me to ask. It's not okay for him to answer. That's the thing. What's one thing that you don't like about Fujifilm?
It's not industry standard.
Oh, okay.
And it's hard to work with others who are having a Canon or a Sony one. I'm not gonna get that job as a cameraman because it's they have reasonable skepticism.
Okay.
because they don't know what the log footage is going to be like, whether if they can, have it with the Sony log footage.
Fair.
So from that perspective, it's a downsize, or not down. It's like a difficult moment or a challenge.
Okay. But the camera itself, other than that, you have no gripes with it.
No,
Everything's fine.
I have to say that I'm very satisfied with what I've been getting.
Okay, here's your last what would you rather then. Everybody that uses a Sony suddenly switches to Fujifilm, or you get 2 free Sony cameras.
I think I would probably go with the Sony in that case, because there are like, with Sony, I can see that you can still like upgrade to cameras, and Fuji has limitations in that case still. They are about to come up with a similar camera that's like the
the
FX.
Eterna.
Yes,
right,
the
yeah.
Eterna. That's what they are planning to like release. I think that might changes, like in the future of like how much it's just like common like in filmmaking. But I feel like, yeah, you have like more cameras to upgrade to as you're getting better at filming. Or like when it comes to the audio, like abilities, like how to have it, like the Fuji camera to have like multiple like microphones, like wireless one, and then the environment mic is just a pain in the ass. And as I see it, like on Sony, that's something that like really triggers me to use it, because you can have like multiple channels for the audio easily.
We'd never asked about the so you were recently married.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Woo.
That's very nice of you guys. Yes.
So
Thank
you're
you
a
very
bit of
much.
a romantic, aren't you?
It's interesting from a perspective that I met people in Vancouver who are not from Europe, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are from Europe and you still get married?" Like, what do you mean? And they were saying like, "Yeah, Europeans that don't really get it, or like they would get married in a very late age." Like, I never heard this perspective, I have to admit.
Same.
Me neither.
But yeah, so it's great. I have my partner who moved to Vancouver a year ago. We've been in a relationship for a few years. We got to know each other from Budapest, and we connected through Instagram, and we were like commenting on each other's like.
It's all about the DMs.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah.
baby.
And he's got the Gustojos done
Yeah.
already. Okay.
And so yeah, she also enjoys doing content, so that's something that's a mutual interest field we share, and we are always there for commenting each other's work. Right now, we have like idea or plans like how to put that on another like elevate to another level.
Like working
Airbnb
together.
has like working together. Airbnb has this new service called Airbnb service or experience actually, and it's basically about if you travel to a certain city, then you can hire a photographer to go with you in the city for a few hours, capture you, and then introduce the city as well. So actually that's what I'm gonna do in a few hours from now with her.
Nice.
We are about to take a gentleman around, and we will be doing like candid shots together, and then at the same time talk about Gastown and or historical sites in the city.
So from what I understood, you're going to be the one showing around and talking about the places and stuff. And Paloma, your beautiful wife, is going to be the one taking the photos in this situation, right?
Primarily, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
awesome.
Yes, and I would try to do like some additional shots. Like she would be using the primer, sorry, the prime lens. Thank you so much.
You got it.
The prime lens, and I would be playing with the zoom one. So, and sometimes a switch, but basically I want to get her the chance to practice as much as she can, and then later on like doing planning as well, and I can be just like the talker.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Congrats.
Dream team.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
It's very nice of you. Yeah.
And good luck on this project. I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and you're going to meet a lot of people, and hopefully you don't get drunk while you show
I
the
will
brewery.
try. Last time I did.
Nice. That's
We went
classic
to
Balazs.
we had to take our guests to a brewery.
Nice. Good call.
You and breweries, that seems to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for inviting me. I just had a great time, and I wish you guys all the luck. And I see the talent. I see like how you guys prepare like for about the guest and like the question. Great. I really enjoy being here with you guys. we had more time.
Yeah, same.
I think we can talk forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're big
There's still so many.
fans of your work and your
Oh, wow, thank you.
kindness. It was a very special episode. I got emotional several times.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for being here and for supporting us.
Absolutely.
You are the best.
Oh, yeah, I can tell the same about you guys. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Balazs. And thanks to you guys. Great job. That's it for this episode. We will see you on the next one. And if you got a lot of value out of this, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you think someone in our industry could use, something that you learned here, please be sure to share it with them. If you have any questions that you want asked in future episodes to some of our guests, please add them to the comment section. We would love to hear from you. And if you have any guests that you think we should bring on, be sure to drop them in the chat too. Yeah, that's it. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Ciao.